Good morning, everybody, and surprise, surprise, we're back, where dreams come true, Walt Disney World. And where better to start than EPCOT, where the Flower and Garden Festival is in full bloom, a festival that is largely a celebration of springtime, and the weather out here could not be more perfect. This is weird because I was just here about 8 weeks ago, and yet it feels like it has been so long. And if you're surprised to see me back here so soon, I am nearly as surprised, because pretty much everything about this happened at the very last minute. That's not a tunnel. In fact, until I woke up this morning, I had no idea I would be at EPCOT today. Because as much as I love old Walt Disney here, I'm actually in Florida for an epic new adventure. And if everything goes according to plan, I'll be visiting a brand new theme park I have never laid eyes on before. But let's not talk about that yet. For the moment, let's live in the present. We're here at EPCOT for Flower and Garden Festival. Wow, dude, look at that topiary figment. And I just noticed something right here. Look at the little flower tag over here. 30 years and growing. I had no idea the Flower and Garden Festival has been going on that long. More people are getting a fun pic with topiary figment. Look at this lady getting a photo shoot with a basket of oranges. But there are so many other epic photo ops around here. So many other topiaries. Like, look at this. It's Phineas and Ferb right here. Something about topiaries, dude. I love them. I've always loved them. And apparently I'm not alone, because look at the size of that line there for a fun pic with Topiary Mick and all his pals. Look at Pluto right there with the kite string. Topiary Chippendale here at the front, and there's Minnie Mouse just laying in the garden. Oh, looks like they're having a perfect picnic out here. Now, I am staying on property at the Walt Disney World Resort at a very special place that I want to show you guys in just a little bit. In fact, my original plan for today was just to take it easy, show you guys where I'm staying. It's that cool. Kind of recover from the multiple flights it took for me to get here at the last second. But as soon as I woke up on Walt Disney World property, I was like, nuts to that. I'm not going to Walt Disney World without entering some kind of park before our next mission. Look at this. It's all blossoms of fragrance, and it's spraying out different florally smells. Smells like a Glade air freshener. It's so weird. They have that Scentsy little scavenger hunt in Magic Kingdom. And over here, they've got some glorious grapefruit and other smells pumping out of these signs in front of these topiary butterflies. They're talking about how smell is the closest sense tied to memory, and trying to ask what you remember if you sniff these different fragrances. Like I said, I mostly remember air fresheners. All right, I'm pumped to be back. I'm pumped to take in a little springtime at Walt Disney World. And I gotta make the most of the morning while I'm out here. I can't stay at EPCOT all day because there is a lot to do before I try to get up as early as possible tomorrow for our epic mission. I've gotta lay in some supplies. I've gotta show you the epic place where I'm staying. But look at this, I keep getting distracted by these topiaries. Here's Donald Duck with a bee right on his forehead. Good thing I didn't bring Allie with me, actually, because there are bees all over the place. That's right, I'm in Walt Disney World solo once again. Oh, look at this Groot over here holding Greenhouse Mix Volume 1. That is the first time I have ever seen a topiary cassette tape. I'll tell you that much right now. I love this. I love this topiary hunt. I love when there's anything to do at Walt Disney World that doesn't involve standing in line. Scavenger hunts, extra artwork, extra theming. I love it all. Look at Buzz Lightyear here. To infinity and beyond. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't notice this, but right across the way from Donald Duck working in his garden, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are over here in topiary form as well. Dude, I love Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Just wish there was a topiary Uncle Scrooge with them. I'll tell you what, after just being in the deserts of Nevada and Utah, and then going home to a mostly pretty cloudy and gloomy Southern California for the most part, I am loving seeing all of this green out here and all of these springtime flowers. And look at this little fella nestled in amongst the flowers. It's Spike the Bee. You never see anything involving Spike the Bee at Disneyland. Actually, speaking of flowers and Spike the Bee, I noticed some extra theming I've never seen before on the other side of the Creation Shop earlier, which, by the way, has a bunch of Spike the Bee merchandise. And I'm not sure if they've done this at previous Flower and Garden Festivals or not, but check this out. Right over here outside, sort of facing Spaceship Earth, they've themed out some of the trash cans for Flower and Garden. Look at, there's Spike the Bee right there, buzzing around since 1948, it says. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, and Spike's not alone, because look at the Orange Bird trash can as well with this. I love that little sort of orange blossom, orange Spaceship Earth-like logo. And I've seen this on a bunch of merchandise as well. Peelin' Happy. Uh-oh, I hear singing and I see some dancing. Let's take a peek really quick. Ah, they're dancing to some songs from Encanto. They're singing about Bruno. Oh, there's even an audience member dressed as Bruno. But let's not talk about that. It's incredible the amount of detail in these things and the amount of work it must take to do flower and garden successfully every year for 30 years. And I love everything about it. The giant topiary butterflies, the beds of flowers everywhere, the little floating baskets of flowers in all of the water here. I haven't even thought about hopping on a ride yet or anything. It's probably easily the prettiest time of year out here at Epcot during Flower and Garden. And yeah, I've only been out here during Flower and Garden like a tiny handful of times, which is probably why I get super pumped up every single time I'm able to catch it. Oh, look at this. We finally found our way over to the butterfly landing. They've got real live butterflies in there. Although you almost don't need to go inside because I've been seeing actual butterflies flying all over this park. And not just butterflies, but bees. Billions and billions of buzzing bees everywhere. All right, let's go inside the official butterfly exhibit over here. Ooh, nice shade. So many little informative signs, little signs for what all these different plants and flowers are. And of course, so many butterflies. It's like a plague of butterflies. Dude, they are flying around all over the shop. And whenever I see butterflies, I can't help but think of that SpongeBob episode. Look at this, there are even little butterfly hatcheries over here. You see the little cocoons over there? Ooh, look at this. Here's a whole batch of freshly hatched butterflies still drying their wings before they spread their wings and fly. It's crazy. I mean, with all the flowers, I was expecting some butterflies, just not this many. All right, at each stop I make today, I keep having to remind myself, I've got a lot to do. We don't have too much time to linger. By the way, another spike sighting right there. I was basically planning on staying at the equivalent of a Motel 6 out here, popping in and out for my main mission and flying home, but a very generous friend put me up in the most epic accommodations out here that have completely changed. They're brand new, but it's the kind of accommodations where I'm gonna need some supplies. So I can't afford to linger too long at any one spot. Look at this fun pic right here. I'm trying to figure out exactly what this thing is, what this ball of flowers is over here. But look at these plants. Oh, I see. It's inside. Of course it is. I'm so stupid. But look at these pots right here. Those are amazing. I've never seen pots like this for sale anywhere. Maybe Disney grew this pot. I mean, look at all of this. Look at how absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous Epcot looks today. This is amazing. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't have enough words. I don't have a big enough vocabulary for how this makes me feel. And I gotta say, it feels good to be warm. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not eat on the planes yesterday at all. I spent the entire day traveling with no food. I got here after midnight. So one of the main reasons I was like, oh, I've got to go to one of the parks. I'm starving. This is something they do not have on the West Coast. These really good gluten-free chicken strips and fries. Oh, all right. I'm now fortified. I probably should have waited to check out all the festival booths and see what kind of gluten-free stuff they had for me, you know, all the various foods they pop out at all these festivals. But most of them are in the World Showcase. And since I basically hadn't eaten in more than 24 hours, nothing substantial anyway, I don't think I would have made it all the way around the world without a little sustenance. Man, it is so beautiful and still and quiet and not crowded out here. I am so grateful to be here right now. Oh my gosh, look what they have here at the Citrus Blossom. Look at the orange bird sipper. I love the orange bird. He's so cute. And look at that sipper. He's holding his own sipper. Sipperception. I'm gonna have to pick myself up one of those before I go home. Not even just for me, I know Allie will want one of those. All right, well, it's finally time for a short walk around the world, and then I'm gonna show you guys where I'm staying. But first, I know scale is difficult right now. Look at the size of that fish. Can you see that fish right there? Huge. Oh, it feels good to be back in Mexico again. Last time I was here, I was doing that Festival of the Arts scavenger hunt. And if you'll recall, there was a particularly big fail when it came to the scavenger hunt in Mexico. Ah, memories. Speaking of scavenger hunts, I've seen people walking around with these little pieces of paper with stickers on them. They're looking for Easter eggs. Ooh, I wish I had time for another scavenger hunt today, but instead I'm gonna listen to the sweet, sweet sounds of mariachi cobre. Doesn't cobre mean copper in Spanish? So they're mariachi copper mariachi. I admit my Spanish is no bueno, but that name doesn't make much sense to me. However, listening to them for a while, that makes perfect sense. An Epcot tradition. Dude, I had so much fun out here a couple of of weeks ago, we did a secret for every country in the world showcase. We talked about classic Hollywood studio secrets, went on Tiana for the first time. And I know for a fact a lot of you missed those episodes. So if you want to check those out, go back. They're right here on this channel, the best channel on the World Wide Web. I mean, why keep surfing the net once you've found Randomland, right? Fun pick! Oh my gosh, look at the merch out here. Look at the little stuffed Spike. He can sit on your shoulder with a little magnet. There's a little Spike the Bee pin. And it's not just Spike the Bee. Look at all the Orange Bird swag over here. They even have a little Orange Bird book. Dude, you can go full Flower of Garden with this merch. Oh, look at this. There's a lot of unique merchandise out here today. I gotta be careful. I was planning on buying some merchandise, but not Disney World merchandise on this trip. There's no budget for that. Oh, and look at this. Here's an Oswald Easter egg over here. Man, I'm completing the scavenger hunt without even trying. Oh my gosh. This might be the greatest topiary set of them all. Topiary, Snow White, and Dopey. And across the way, the other 6 dwarves. Dude, how is that for a money shot? Look at that. Hi ho, hi ho. Not to worry. Just me and 6 of my dwarf pals hanging out here at EPCOT. Now here's the challenge. Can you name all 7 of the dwarves? I gave you Dopey already. You know who that is in the front? That's the leader there. Then who's this cranky fella? Huh? But the rest. Can you name the rest? What the heck is on your nose over here? Look at this little caterpillar. What is that? What is that? Oh my gosh, and I just noticed this around the dwarves' feet. Look at all these gems. Oh, and a hidden Mickey. Hidden Mickey. These guys are leaving a trail of wealth everywhere. They're the world's richest fantasy creatures. Except for maybe Scrooge McDuck. Don't worry, they earned it. They grafted hard down in the mines. Ooh, look at this. Under Spike the Bee over here, we have some edible plants. Grab some basil for my next sandwich or whatever. What? Pepper? This don't look like pepper to me. Ooh, I just realized I'm running out of time. There's a lot to do today and a lot to show you after I leave EPCOT, so I better pick up the pace a little. I feel like I say that, or I have to say that every time I'm in the World Showcase, but come on, I mean, it's the whole world. There is a lot to be distracted by. Ah, they still got George Bush's paintings inside of here. Hashtag art. Ah, topiary Tiana. I was looking around to see if there were any frogs over here near her. Instead, what do I find? Spike! He's everywhere. I really wish I could get my mom out here. She has a degree in horticulture. She loves plants. She has a very green thumb, something that didn't transfer, unfortunately. There's so many places I've always wanted to take her, but she does not do airplanes. I mean, will not, ever. To be honest with you, I'm getting to the point where I wish I didn't do airplanes. You notice I almost never film those travel days? It's because I dread airplanes. I hate airplanes. I don't like to film when I'm grumpy, so that's usually why. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking maybe I shouldn't have come around the world. It's eating up so much time, but I would not have wanted to miss this epic topiary Japanese dragon. Look at that thing. That is incredible. It's the 3rd dragon I've seen today. I'm lying. That's a little inside joke for like 5 people on this planet who understand the church of the 3rd dragon.
The 1st and the 2nd dragon combined into the almighty being known as the 3rd dragon.
All right, this is amazing. They've got a little Japanese water garden out here, and these little bamboo poles that normally fill up, dump out, and then will clack on a rock like that one there. Although you can see this one rung a cowbell. Those were originally meant to scare off deer in Japan, like clack, keep the deer out of the garden. Rolly Crump used one of these to design the Maui figure in the Tiki Room Lanai at the original Disneyland. This one's all musical. It's all connected to drums and bells and all kinds of various little musical instruments, wind chimes you can see back there. That is awesome. All right, this is cute right here. Look at this. You could take home your own topiaries and create your own topiary garden or your own topiary Mickey. How sick is that? All right, it is time for me to actually boost the speed and get out of here. Got a lot to do. This is the exact reason why I was supposed to not come into the parks today. I always have the hardest time tearing myself away from any Disney World theme park, especially during any sort of festival or special event where there's extra stuff to see that's not normally here. I mean, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Well, sadly, my friends, I think for today, our topiary collection is now complete. There may in fact be many that I missed out here. I love this rabbit, by the way. Look at those carrots. In fact, there's almost certainly some that I missed, but that's okay, because although I'm not 100% sure, I think I might get a chance to come back in the coming days. Not 100% sure, like I said, but if I miss any, let me know. I'll try and come back and find them. Hey, look. So that's where he's been hiding. It's Goofy. And speaking of Goofy, if you want to see something goofy, check out my rental car. Are you ready for this? Can you handle this? Look at this tiny clown car right here. Now what I do most of the time, because it's cheaper, you can just do this thing where you just select any car that's available and it'll be like $5 to $15 off per day. That's what I always do. That's part of why every time I come to Orlando, I have a totally different type of car, rental car. I never select like compact or SUV or anything. I always let it just Rochambeau, you know, give me what you got. Last time I ended up with a giant Toyota 4Runner. Most of the time it's a minivan or a pickup truck or a small SUV. This time it's a car that is so tiny that the wheels are barely bigger than my foot. It's like a perfect car for somebody alley size. But when I get in this thing, it just sort of looks like a clown car. And not only does it look like a clown car, it sounds like a little go-kart. This car is so tiny that my hat touches the roof unless I like lean way back. So tiny that if I put the camera up to where my eyes are, this is my view. I have to kind of hunch down to see. I got out to the parking lot, went to the spot they told me, and just started laughing my head off. Dude, this car is so small, it's so funny. But I love that Disney World is so big. It essentially has its own little freeways and highways. Right now though, we are going off of Disney property, out of the bubble where we can swear and chew tobacco. Okay, not literally, but I have to say, this is the closest thing to driving an old vintage VW Bug that I've ever experienced. Unless this were a smart car or a sidecar, this car could not be smaller. All right, don't worry, we're gonna be right back onto Disney World property in a second. First, I just gotta get some supplies. All right, out on Highway 192. I love the world outside of Disney World. You know what I mean? It's like a whole other planet in Central Florida. So much stuff here that I never have quite enough time to see. But look at this. Steamboat Willie has been public domain for about 5 seconds, and already Disney gifts over here, Disney Florida Souvenirs, whatever this store is called, has painted itself with Mickey. Free Mickey! I love these wacky little gift shops. I always want to film them, but they are very sensitive about cameras in there. Oh, Highway 192, how I love you! There's so much non-Disney magic out here. I mean, you've heard of The Little Mermaid. But have you heard of The Big Mermaid? Oh my gosh, would you look at the size of that lady? Oh, beautiful giant fish lady, you've stolen my heart. Woo-wee, would you look at the size of those fins right there, yes. Now, as you can see, just from the windows, they've got all kinds of Disney tees, they've got Orlando t-shirts, they've got all kinds of Disney plush and merchandise in there for lower cost than you would get in a theme park. That is true. I don't know why they're so sensitive about cameras. I always kind of thought, ooh, maybe there's bootleg merch in there. People keep telling me stories of all kinds of fantastic pieces of bootleg merch they find in shops like this one. I never really find it. I just see like, you know, different Disney merchandise than they have in the parks. Kind of almost the same stuff that even Target up the road has. Just a whole lot more of it. As you can see, this place is absolutely gargantuan. There's so much stuff in here. Lots and lots of clothing, lots and lots of swimwear. The employees in here didn't seem to mind me filming so much until I got to the back section with all the Harry Potter stuff. But don't worry, I covered my tracks. I found some sick bootleg looking wizards, and I'm gonna be walking out the door with these. Look at this though. This is the best thing right here. When you find that alligator merchandise, look at all of the alligator heads, and best of all, look at the size of this big stuffed gator. This gator has seen some things. He has seen some, looks like he ate some Captain Crunch. Man, it is awesome. You can find some stuff that you definitely can't find in the theme parks. Here's some Mario puppets. And look at this Gravity Falls merchandise. That is pretty sick. Also, luggage. You need an extra suitcase to get home with. You bought a little too much merchandise, bought too many ceramic looking wizards. Grab yourself an extra suitcase. Nice. Dude, I mean, look at the size of this place. Anyway, like I said, it was a little sketch at first, but as soon as they saw I was buying a couple of wizards, we were all cool. We were all cool. Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark, do 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 do. All right, well, we saw the Big Mermaid where we purchased some little wizards. But speaking of wizards, no trip to Orlando would be complete without seeing Gandalf's daddy. Look at that thing. That thing contains more magic in the palm of his hand than Merlin's got in his whole body. I mean, that is one gargantuan wizard. Would you look at the size of that guy? And would you believe there's not just one giant wizard gift shop here? There are two of them. There's another one on the other side of I-4, way down that way over there. But There's so much more than just the giant mermaid and the wizard. There's the giant safari animals that I just drove past that are across the street. There's the giant American flag painted gift shop. There are tons of these weird little gift shops everywhere full of mummified sharks and alligator heads, wizard novelties, souvenir towels that look like $100 bills. Now, I've never found like those $5 Disney t-shirts they're always talking about. There's always like one. There's always like one shirt in there somewhere in the back that they hide just for when people like me go in there, hey, I don't see any $5 Disney t-shirts. Everything's pretty normally and fairly priced, but there's some sweet swag here for a little bit of a discount compared to the prices you would find in the theme parks. And plus you get to see giant wizards and mermaids. What a fun one. Okay, so the real reason I popped off property wasn't to pick up glass wizard ashtrays. It was to get some groceries. Then I'll show you where I'm staying. All right, there's no business like show business and no place like Walmart. Oh my gosh, the Walmart by Disney World even has Disney-themed snacks. Foodles. Don't worry, I won't drag you through the whole process of shopping. It's crazy, inescapable. I was just thinking, what if you live in this area and you just hate Disney? You hate Disney, what if you hate theme parks, but you grow up in this area? You can't escape from it. You can't escape from it. Look at the size of the Tower of Disney plush right there. Got all your kind of, he's my beast, I'm his beauty or whatever t-shirts over there. Look at Mickey up there with his Walmart name tag. I mean, there is a ton of stuff in here. Mickey neck pillows. Look, there's even like bubble wands over here. Frozen themed bubble wands. Not sure if you can get those into the park though. Basically everything they do sell in the parks you can get here at Walmart. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Get those matching shirts for mom and dad. Hats, keychains, t-shirts. Need a long sleeve tee? No problem. Balloons, tank tops, tote bags, sweaters. See? Told you they got you covered on the long sleeves. And before you jump to the conclusion that Universal is not included, look at that. You got your Hogwarts shirt. You got Minions for Days over here. There's a Jaws t-shirt back there. And here you go. Got some DreamWorks Dragons. Oh, there's even a Toothless tee. There's a lot going on at this Walmart. It's just too bad there's no annual pass discount here, huh? Right, here's the best part of this Walmart and the other local Walmart. The My Airbrush shop. Get any t-shirt you want in the world made. Look at that. That's where you get the sickest tees of all the tees. And that guy in there will airbrush them for you. Ah, look at that. Oh yeah, go full 90s. All right, I took a risk and bought some Mickey bars. Hopefully they don't melt before we get back to where we're going. It's time to race like the wind. Ooh, looks like somebody lost their bumper. Okay, back into Walt Disney World property. I am so pumped up about this, dude. We're going very close to the Magic Kingdom. In fact, it looks like we're about to pull into the parking lot, but we make a quick right turn to a place that's just as dear to my heart. It is the one and only Fort Wilderness Campground. Now, don't let the campground name throw you off. It's basically a regular Walt Disney World resort full of all kinds of amenities, pools, activities. Just instead of regular hotel rooms, you have a campground. You got horseback riding, there are golf carts you can rent, pools to swim in, you can park an RV here, you can do tent camping. But although there are no regular sort of Disney World resort hotel rooms here, you don't have to camp because Fort Wilderness is also full of these epic camping cabins. Now, I've stayed in the old version of the camping cabins, but this is my first time back at the Fort Wilderness cabins since they were replaced by these brand new cabins out here. This is so weird because I've stayed at the camping cabins like a ton of times in the past. So on the one hand, in one way, it feels so good to finally be home in a way. And yet on the other hand, it is a brand new experience. I love this. I mean, what other camping cabin can you open with a magic band? All right, it's perhaps not as tidy inside as I would prefer. Like I said, I got here in literally the middle of the night last night and checked myself in, ran to the gas station, get some chips and salsa because I was starving. If you've ever seen my old episodes showing tours of the cabins, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, you'll know this is a very, very different look. These almost look like, I don't know, some kind of camping cabins you would find in Napa Valley or something, or Aspen maybe. They're very, very modern, where the old ones looked a lot more like log cabin type of things. I love this hotel because you have your own parking spot right at your own little home, and that's exactly what these are. They're basically like little prefabricated houses. There's even a little barbecue grill out in front of each one. You've got your own private little deck with a table and chairs, or more like benches actually. You are sort of out in the wilderness here, lots of pine needles, lots of mud when it rains. So there's a little boot scraper on the deck. Like I was just showing you, you have your own picnic table. You can pull these benches out here, a couple of deck chairs so you can sit out and enjoy the sunshine or the shade under the pines. This is the cabin itself. You got your nice little retro porch light. It's a very strange mix of sort of modern looking architecture and kind of retro fixtures. Here we go. Now I can finally let you inside the cabin and look at this. It is totally different than the old ones. The bedrooms are in the same spot all the way down at the very end, but everything else has been completely redesigned. Where you used to have the bathroom, you now have this living room here. You can see there's a special little symbol on my TV because of the friend who booked this room for me. And look at that. This is a pull-out bed here. This couch converts basically into a big Murphy bed. Whoa. Ooh, I thought that was coming down on my brain right there. I don't want to pull it all the way out, but you get the idea. If I keep pulling, that little headboard will come up, and this transforms basically into a queen-size bed right in your living room. Push it back up, and you have a beautiful wall again. I love the sort of modern but yet retro artwork over there. Lots of Fort Wilderness art. Some nice acorn and pine cone pillows. Inside of this weird ottoman thing, you have pillows and blankets for that queen-size bed you pull out of the wall. Nice little bedside table with the remote control on it. I really love that chair right there, the chair and the little table. And you can see there are curtains, big windows here, sliding glass door. No, I'm wrong, it's not a sliding glass door, just big windows. There's a little chain on this side to close these upper windows. I like to leave them open because when the sun comes in the morning, helps me to get up early. And then look at this, you have a whole entire kitchen area in here with a nice dining room table, 4 chairs, and it is a full kitchen. You've got a sink right here with a garbage disposal. You got a full-size trash can hiding down there, a full-on, full-size oven, one that you can actually cook a Thanksgiving turkey in. Little hidden Mickey in the burners there. Full-size dishwasher. You got a Keurig that also has like a regular coffee maker in one side. There's a toaster right there, and all of these cabinets are full of plates, bowls, cups. You got a little pitcher right there, a scuola pasta. You've got a couple of these like almost like Pyrex things. There's mixing bowls in here. You've got silverware. Some little pot holders yonder. Let's see, under the sink there's some cleaning supplies, some dishwashing supplies. And look at all these cooking implements in here. You basically have everything you need to prepare a meal as long as you just buy some groceries. And there is a little Fort Wilderness supply depot, a little store on the property where you can actually buy groceries right here at Fort Wilderness. You don't have to go to Walmart. I just went there to get some gluten-free items, got myself a little lasagna, burrito, some chicken nuggets, and some Mickey bars in there. And that's what I love. You got a full-size freezer and a full-size fridge. You can see I put some barbecue sauce in there. For someone with dietary restrictions or food allergies like me, this is perfect. Especially perfect if you're staying with kids or whatever, or your friends and you want separate sleeping spaces. Check out the bedroom right here. You got a whole other TV, a nice large TV. You've got a nice large queen size bed with some very cute Chip and Dale theming in here. There's a bunch of old Fort Wilderness sort of postcards. I didn't really make the bed this morning. Sorry, just ignore that. Again, that super high wedge-shaped ceiling with those big windows on top. The light came in this morning and woke me up nice and early, which I really appreciated. There's a nice back window out there into the wilderness. You can see my backpack over there in the little closet. I love the artwork in the back of that. I actually never looked in the dresser. Oh, there's a little room safe in here, some nice big drawers. You got the bedside table here with a phone, some pamphlets and information, then the little Disney Alexa thing where you say like, hey Disney to it. Gideon Bible in the bedside table, Gideon Bible. Then on either side of the bed, you have these things, which I really like, the little reading lights over here for nighttime. There's a little mini bedside table. They have USB ports finally in the sockets next to the beds. Here's a close-up on that closet where I stashed away a pillow, but there's a little bit of hanging space there for your jackets and stuff, one of those little luggage racks. I haven't used that yet. But the best part about this bedroom is this. Look at the size of these bunk beds right here. There are 2 kind of kid-sized bunk beds. Not 100% sure I at 6 foot would be super comfortable in them, but most adults would fit in these. And look at that artwork. You can see Dale sleeping in his little hole in the tree. There's a little owl over here. And then look at the downstairs bed. You've got Chip sleeping over here on a tree branch. They got acorns in the tree, and there's the feet of Donald Duck, who apparently has been out fishing and camping. Each one of the bunk beds has its own little miniature light, a little lantern there. They've got these cute themed pillows, and the blankets, the little quilts on these bunk beds are way nicer than the one even for the mom and dad bed. I love this, dude, and they're so high up. Like, because of the high ceiling, it really feels like some kind of tree fort that you get to sleep in. I would have lost my mind as a 10-year-old to sleep in this bunk bed right here. My brother and I, we always had bunk beds, and I always got top bunk. That's the benefit of seniority. Oh, I didn't even notice this. There's some like almost like shoe drawers down there, or maybe you could put your kids' clothes in there. I love these little canoe paddles, these little painted paddles on the side of the bunk bed. Ignore my suitcase. There's this cute little ladder to climb up. I mean, that is so freaking fun. Way more fun than my bed. I just realized though, there's nothing stopping me from sleeping in one of these bunk beds tonight. I mean, it's crazy. It's like I'm home again, right? Home at Fort Wilderness. I actually stayed in Fort Wilderness one time for basically a month during kind of the Halloween season. Actually, more than once I've stayed here for over 3 weeks. Not that it would normally be in my budget, but like I said, I've got a generous friend who every once in a while will put me up at Disney World. And, you know, for the record, there are very, very nice hotels at much more competitive prices, slightly off property, that are just as close and convenient to get into Disney World. But there's something about staying on property and getting the full Disney experience that, although it's been more rare for me in recent years, I really love. All right, so the bathroom is now at the far end of the cabin, down towards the parking spot. There's a creepy locked closet that I assume is for like the maids, the housekeepers. But the cool thing is that in this hallway, you have a little sink and mirror and some space there underneath the cabinets, and even a makeup mirror so that if somebody needs to use the bathroom or take a shower, someone else can be out here doing their makeup. And then left turn into the bathroom itself, which I hope isn't too much of a mess because I did partake of a shower last night. You got your Royal Wilderness throne, you got a nice sink over here, beautiful mirror with this weird sort of geometric pattern. You got some fishing lures in a painting there. And then there's this weird closet that's got a vacuum, a broom, almost like a little collapsible laundry basket. You've got a steam iron in here. That's my cologne. Watch out for that. Got some decent serviceable towels. There's actually quite a lot of towels in here, at least 6 towels, which is good because that means I never have to ask for housekeeping. This is the only big downgrade. No bathtub. It's a very nice shower with a big old shower head, the little wand guy. If you prefer to use that to get to your nether regions, there's a drain there. I guess every shower has that. Comes with some shampoo and body wash and conditioner there. I've got my own shampoo with me. I definitely miss the old bathtub. I enjoy a bath. I don't know about you. I totally get why some people are not into bathtubs in hotels or don't use them in hotels. I understand. I generally trust them. I mean, typically I clean them out before I ever even use them. And maybe it's just because the house I rent back in California doesn't actually have a bathtub in it, but I really enjoy the luxury of a bath, especially after pumping your legs all around the parks all day. Feels nice to come and relax and get a bath. But I think most of the Disney World resorts, as they are being remodeled, are removing the bathtubs and replacing them with just those kind of big walk-in showers like that, which is really weird because, you know, we saw the Princess Diana suite. Last time we saw the most rare and exclusive suite in Disney World. We saw the King Kamehameha suite at the Polynesian. And one thing that I noticed about all the rich people suites, every single one of them has got a big luxurious bathtub in it. You know what I mean? So if it's good enough for Dustin Hoffman or Johnny Depp or Princess Diana, then bathtubs are good enough for me. So no bathtub in here. That's a little bit disappointing, but otherwise, I'm pretty excited about these new cabins, and they are so new, so fresh. They started replacing the old cabins in 2024. I think they're still working on it because I saw some cabins last night, drove past them that had kind of caution tape and stuff around them. I'm guessing that's because they're brand new or still being furnished and stuff like that. The old Fort Wilderness cabins all got auctioned off and sold off. They were like 30 or 40 grand, even as used and beat up as they were. And you had to haul them off of here and have your own property to put them on. Just makes me think, isn't it great to own land? I wish I owned some land because I would have loved to have bought one of those. I really love those cabins. Allie and I have some great memories in these cabins. I used to bring London out here and we'd stay in the cabins. One time I even brought my friend Fake Tyler to Florida. The only time he's ever been to Disney World, he stayed in one of these cabins with me on the sort of couch bed. I love being in these cabins during thunderstorms when the trees are all shaking with the wind. I love how close to Magic Kingdom it is, so you can really hear the fireworks every night and see them flashing all through the woods. And many, many times I've walked out onto the deck of one of these cabins and seen deer roaming around, wild turkeys, even the occasional armadillo. Nobody's out and about at the moment. But never say never, never say never. So I'm back on Walt Disney World property, which is ironic because the main mission of this trip, of course, is that brand new theme park opening up here in Orlando, which is definitely not a Disney park, let's put it that way. Should be pretty epic, can't wait to lay my eyes on it tomorrow. And I was gonna stay, like I said, at basically like the equivalent of like a Motel 6, like just the cheapest, quickest way I could. And then my friend found out that I was coming here and was like, would you like to stay in one of the new cabins? I said, oh, mon frere. No contraire, I would enjoy that the most. So here I am for a couple of nights back at Fort Wilderness. I just put my groceries inside. I'm gonna run in and actually edit this particular video because I have some other friends in town for the same reason as me. We might meet up tonight and have a little dinner. Well, they might have dinner. I'm gonna eat these groceries that I brought home. Definitely feels a lot fancier, a lot different. I wish they still had a couple of the old cabins for me to stay in. That's just mainly out of absolute pure nostalgia. You see the housekeepers going by on their little golf carts over there. Pure nostalgia. I loved those old cabins. I'd love to find one day if I ever win the lottery and put it on a ranch somewhere. But I could get used to this. I could get used to this fancy little Aspen, Napa Valley looking thing. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily on theme. I think this is sort of a Hangover Chapek era decision. I mean, some of the rest of you will have to tell me, are a lot of places in the woods like this? Does this speak Fort Wilderness to you? Probably not. It's more of like a glamping looking place. But considering how much things like this cost at Disney World, I suppose most people would probably expect it to be nice or a little fancier than what used to be here before. Anyway, I'm gonna put my feet up out here, just chill in the outdoors for a while, listen to the sounds of the dump trucks and little golf carts cruising by, edit some video, eat some food, maybe meet up with the friends, and then try to sleep as early as possible because there's going to be a heck of a long day today. That's part of why I wanted to break in the old park legs. And I'm a little nervous, a little trepidatious about what comes next, about this new park, about the new experience here in Orlando. It's literally a whole new world opening up out here. Well, a whole new universe, if you know what I mean. And that's all I was coming for. And then I was going to zip back home to Southern California. Instead, I extended my trip by a couple of days so we could squeeze in a little flower and garden festival, squeeze in a little more Disney World action at the end of the week, and then cruise home because there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. Bob Gurr's movie premiere is coming up April 26th at the Alex Theater in Glendale. I think there's a couple of tickets left if you want to go. Right now, I'm just feeling stoked. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling happy to be back at Walt Disney World. I want to keep this video going and show you everything else I do today. But like I said, I got to start editing now to get the video up tomorrow so I can wake up with nothing else on my mind than exploring the new, the strange, the epic new universe opening up in Orlando. So thank you for watching, my friends. Thank you for coming with me to Florida. Hang in there, don't touch that dial because we're gonna have a whole new experience tomorrow and a little bit more Disney World coming up. For now though, safe to say, we've done our duty. Time to hotel and sleep well.
Chatita vida mía, dices que te vas de mí. Si tú te vas algún día, pues yo me muero por ti. El pueblo tiene mi Sánchez de haber nacido en ella. No me gusta más el marache que se chocó.